Hi everyone, we are going to be reviewing our summer harvests for 2021 and talking about our winners and our losers. Stay tuned right to the end for a bonus loser that I forgot to mention. Hi guys, we have got some beautiful weather for a few days at least. It's been a really disappointing summer, it has to be said. It's been a disappointing year really weather-wise, thinking about the garden. We had really late spring. You know, it took an age for the frosts to stop coming, and it was as late as a lot of people can remember. Obviously I haven't been gardening that long, so when I say it's the latest spring I've ever experienced, that doesn't really tell you very much. But lots of other people that have been gardening a lot longer than I have said the same thing. So it's been a really late spring, and then we had about 2 or 3 weeks of glorious weather, really hot, and then nothing. Then it's just been muggy, rainy, wet, no real heat to speak of, and it has made a difference. But as always, just like every year, there's been winners and losers. So I'm just on my way to milk the goats, and then going to talk you through our winners and losers from this year in the vegetable garden. Okay, obviously the season isn't over yet. There's loads and loads of things that we're still harvesting, but there are some things that have finished and we're ready to replant. So we've got some big gaping holes here where our potatoes have come out, and I've got things ready to go in there. I just haven't had a chance to do them yet, but I am in a position to judge some of our summer main crops, winners and losers. So that's what we're going to do now. So first off, our beans, and as you can see, we're not nearly done yet. We've got weeks of beans still to come. My wife's already come out and harvested today, so there's not a lot of beans here to show you, but we have been harvesting beans like gangbusters. We have just been going and going for it. It's been a great year for beans, both our runner beans here, we've got some bolotto beans just over there, and also our little dwarf beans, which have also just been delivering over and over again. We've got a freezer full of beans, and definitely this year we've got enough to last us right through till next year's harvest. So that's our first winner, beans. Our second winner this year has been our beetroot. Now you guys will know how big a fan of beetroot we are here. It's one of our favourite vegetables, and it's been a great year for beetroot. We've been harvesting probably 2 or 3 times a week, anywhere between 1 and 3 beetroots depending on what we're doing, and we've got loads more still in the ground doing really well. I've actually learned something else this year, and that's about varieties. We tried a new variety this year, golden something, I can't remember what it was, but we won't be doing that again next year. We're going to focus on this variety, which is the Choggia, Choggia. They're just so much better than the other variety, the yellow variety that we tried this year. I will definitely be focusing on these next year. We will try some other varieties over time, but this is definitely going to be a staple. Just the flavour is amazing. It's so much more flavourful and sweet than the golden variety that we tried this year. But beetroot have definitely been another winner this year. Now last year we really struggled with our beetroot, so it just goes to show that it doesn't necessarily mean that we're really good at growing beetroot or this ground is really good at growing beetroot. Last year wasn't very good. The year before was fantastic, and this year is fantastic. So beetroot and beans, 2 of this year's winners. Next up is something that falls kind of in between, and that's our potatoes. As you can see, they're all out now, but we've harvested a ridiculous volume and weight of potatoes. We've harvested enough potatoes. We've had a little think about it and worked it out that if we store them correctly, they're going to get us right through till Christmas. Now, our potato patch was basically up there where you see the courgettes, this bit here and that bit there, and that's going to do our whole family and we've been eating the potatoes out the ground from this garden for a couple of months now, so realistically that's going to do us about 8 or 9 months for a family of 5. what our plan was to have some Christmas potatoes in. We were going to take out some of our early potatoes, put Christmas potatoes straight in there. But the reason potatoes are winners and losers this year is because the blight. It's been an awful year for blight, as you guys will already know. I will have shared it with you. Just the weather we've had has been atrocious. So we lost our potatoes a little bit earlier than we would have even liked. Our main crop potatoes, they'd still be in the ground if the blight hadn't hit. But the yields have been phenomenal, even though we pulled them out a little bit early. So potatoes are definitely a winner. Now, our first loser this year are our brassicas. But that's nothing to do with the weather, nothing to do with the climate. It's everything to do with me. I tried to be super idle this year, and we didn't give them any protection from pests. And as you can see, some of these guys were some of our earliest sowings, and they've really struggled. But that's not to say it's been a complete failure. We have been harvesting cabbage, and we do have lots of purple sprouting broccoli, which you see just this side of the path there, which are coming right. And we've got a lot of late season brassicas that have recently gone in that are going to give us those crops later in the year. Next up, we're going to go in our polytunnel, which is quite warm today. And a massive winner has been our cucumbers. Now, we've already shown you our cucumbers a few times, but they have just been incredibly prolific. And we can't stop them. Every time I come in here, there is cucumbers everywhere I look. Can you see them back there? I'm not sure how well you can see, but there are really good sized cucumbers right through this section of plant. And as you can see, we've got lots and lots more still coming. Just in this little section here, we've got 1, 2, 3 up here, 3 there, and 4 just there, all within a little few inches of this plant. Cucumbers have just been going bananas, and I'm so grateful for that, because if it wasn't for that, this polytunnel would feel really barren and quite upsetting to me, because the rest of it a couple of months ago was absolutely rammed with some really, really healthy looking tomato plants, which are of course our biggest loser of 2021. The blight came so hard, came so early, and it's so hard that it even infected our polytunnel tomatoes. We've lost every single tomato plant here, even ones that we thought we hadn't lost, we've lost. And we are definitely going to be growing some blight resistant varieties next year. So that is our winners and losers. Now obviously we've got lots and lots of other crops that are doing just fine, but for whatever reason they haven't had an amazing year, and they haven't had a poor year. They've had an average year. You know, our Egyptian walking onions, our other onions, our courgettes, our spinach, we've got basil, we've got all sorts out here. We've also got some gourds, we've got some pumpkins, which are looking like they're going to be amazing, and some butternut squash, but it's too early to say. We're not there yet. And obviously our sweet corn. We've got 2 patches of sweet corn, and again, it's too early to say how well they're going to crop. But that's our winners and losers for the summer harvests of 2021. So our winners were our beetroot, our potatoes, our beans, and our cucumbers. And our losers were also our potatoes, our brassicas, and our tomatoes. And the nice thing is that 2 of those losers were only because of blight, something that's completely out of my control. And the third loser is the brassicas, which not only was within my control, but easy to solve that problem, and I can solve that next year. So overall, it's been a really, really positive summer for harvests, and we have got a freezer that's really starting to look healthy going into the winter. So there you go. That is our winners and losers of summer 2021 vegetable garden harvesting. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please make sure you press that like button, leave me a comment down below, and if you're not already, please do make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Cheers. And as promised, I'm just heading into the house, and I forgot to mention one bonus loser, and that was asparagus peas. I think even if I enjoyed them, the yields weren't really that spectacular, and certainly not worth the space that they would have taken up. I could have grown something far more prolific in their stead, but also the flavour, the texture, they're very much of a letdown. So asparagus peas, we will not be growing again, and that's one of our losers of this year as well. Cheers.